All right, aloha. We have former UH assistant coach under June Jones and now current special teams coordinator for the CSL Hamilton TigerCats, Jeff Reinebold, is joining us. Aloha, coach.
Hey, aloha, man. How's everybody back on the islands?
Pretty good, pretty good. So obviously you're busy with your current coaching position, but you always shared your love for the University of Hawaii football program, wherever you go. Have you found time to keep up with how the team is doing so far, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I follow it really close. Panay Pavi'i is playing for us. He's a rookie and playing actually playing really well. He and I follow the Warriors every day, and every we live and die with them on the weekend, and talk about it all the time. And I think that, to be honest with you, I think right now they're just about where we probably thought they'd be at this juncture in the season. Obviously the first six were really difficult. You got a great Oregon team at Oregon. You got to travel to an SEC team and play Vanderbilt. Those are, let's call them what they are. They're money makers for the program. And then they beat Albany. I thought it was a big win to come back and beat New Mexico State. New Mexico State had them on the ropes a little bit. And, they made a couple big plays and were able to turn that one and win that one. That was huge. I think they've got to be disappointed about the UNLV game. That was one I thought was going to be a swing game on the schedule when you looked at it. But I still think that they're going to be a bowl team when the whole thing sorts itself out. I looked at the UNLV tape today. We get a service called PFF, which gives us all the coaching tape for every school around the country. So I poured through that today, and I know they're certainly would rather be 4-2 than 2-4, but I think right now where they're at is within striking distance. And I think these next four games, at home against San Diego State, at New Mexico, at home against San Jose, and then at Nevada, those are going to be the ones that tell the tale of the season. I think one of the things, I had an opportunity to work for Timmy last year, in an off the field capacity, but I sat in on all the meetings, and when he talks to his team, his messaging, I think, is very, very strong, and I think his messaging has always remained very consistent. That it's about incremental improvement. He took over a program that was on its knees, and it's not going to rise and stand up straight, in a year. It's going to take time, and turning a football program, especially at a non-Power 5 school where you don't have access to the funds to do some of the things that with the NIL money that people do to induce players to come. It's going to be more of a process. They have to continue to develop players that are in the program, recruit guys that are young with ability. They're probably going to be a year or two away when you get them as freshmen, and then take transfers where they can get them to help. So I think they're doing all of those things. You talked about the fundamental piece. When I watched them play, this is the kind of the takeaways that I had. I thought I saw a team that played hard. You see the youngness in them in some cases. They're not quite in the right position. Their eyes are all over the place. They're making mistakes that young football teams make. They're a little overmatched in the offensive line right now, and that's pretty natural when you consider the talent that graduated out of there last year. I think Roman Sapolo is one of the best young offensive line coaches I've been around, and I've been around a lot of them. And I know that he'll continue to get those guys to play better week in and week out. But like I say, I think they're now going to go back into the conference schedule. The teams in the next 4 weeks are all pretty much on par with them talent-wise. I was impressed with UNLV. I'd be honest with you. I thought they really were way better than the UNLV team I saw on Ching Field last year. They're big, they're strong. They challenged you in the back end. Their defensive backs, did a great job of challenging the receivers. But there were some plays that Hawaii had early in the game. I think there are a couple throws that Shaggs would like to have back. Certainly, he missed a couple guys that were open. But he also made some great throws. McBride, I think, really impressed me. That kid's he can be a really fine X in that offense. you know, the running game's a bit of a concern because, Thailand hasn't played at the level I think Thailand's capable of playing. I really think he's a great football player. And I don't know if he's nicked or what it is, but I'm sure he'll, get back on track because he was last year. I really thought he was offensively the biggest playmaker that they had. I think you got to understand what the run and shoot really is. I mean, what is concerning if you watch it and you see it on both sides of the football, where Nevada, UNLV was playing with what we call a skinny box, where they were playing sometimes with 5, maybe 6 guys in the box, and you should be able to block that. And right now they were just getting overpowered at the point of attack. And then the same thing is true on the other side. You know, they're just not strong enough yet. They're not big enough yet. They don't have enough big bodies yet. And again, that's part of what the transition is going to be as they grow. It's when you're playing with young kids, you're talking about young guys that haven't been in the weight room for 5 years like some other programs have. And, Cody does a great job in the weight room with those guys. And but it takes time. You don't walk out of high school and be strong enough to play against 23-year-old men. It just doesn't work that way. So, it's a process, and it's just grinding and grinding and grinding on, like you said, the fundamentals of the game, the little things, where I put my eyes, where I put my hands, my leverages, all that kind of stuff. And, I think that's what Timmy preaches. That's what his coaching staff preaches when they go to the field every day. And then the players have got to take that message and carry it onto the game field. When you look at them, obviously Cam Stone is a good football player. You watch the only D lineman that I see getting what we call knockback, which is where you're actually knocking the offensive lineman off the football a little bit, is Sauce. I think that they miss, you miss your heart and soul, your linebacker leader in there. He was such a good, not just a good leader, but a good football player. His production last year when he got a chance to play was, really, really high. I think Peter is at Manuma at safety is a really, really talented athlete. I mean, a really talented football player, and plays the game. He reminds me of Leonard Peters when I watch him play, and not just because he's got the hair flying out of his helmet, but the way he tackles and the way he attacks the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to be a really, really good player before his career is over with at Hawaii. Some of the young defensive backs, you see that, they can run with people. They can, I thought they did a good job in coverage against UNLV. Right now, it's just really difficult for them to generate any kind of pass rush unless they blitz you. And again, that's a product of, not being good enough yet up front. Young players that have to develop, and young players have to get stronger and grow, and all of those things. So, it's part of the process of turning a football program. I miss Hawaii like crazy. We have a bye week not this week, the following after we play BC. We have a bye week, and I'm going to be home, and I would like to see if I can fit a UH game in while I'm home. But we just clinched a playoff spot last week. We got 3 games left to go. We have a chance if we can. I think certainly if we can win out these last 3, then we'll host a home playoff game, and that puts you with that really. In our league, you've got 6 teams make the playoffs, and 2 teams get byes, and then you got 2 home playoff games, and hopefully you're playing for a championship. So it's been a long struggle for us. We've been really beat up, and we went down to our 3rd quarterback, and it's hard to win in pro football when you're playing your 3rd quarterback. But we're starting to heal up a little bit, and these kids have really played hard and played, really good football the last couple of weeks. So, hopefully we can continue that trend and finish this thing off and win a championship. I would just like to say that I think it's real important that people understand that we need to back Timmy. We need to get behind the program in every way possible, and whether that's showing up and watching practice, going to the games, what you guys do is tremendous because it gives access to fans that other places you're just not going to get it. But, you know, everybody, you know, that program, in order to change that program, in order to make that program what it was and what it can be, you know, the entire state's got to rally up. And, you know, Timmy's the right guy for that job. I know his coaches work their ass off, and you know, and those players wanna win. You see it in the way they play. They still, even though they're not as talented as the teams we had in 6 and 7 when I was there, and you know, we won all those games. The thing you see is that they play like Hawaii plays. They play hard. I mean, they're going to hit you and they're going to play hard. And so if they never lose that as they continue to develop, and you know, we continue to build resources for Timmy and his staff, then you know, I think that you're going to see it. It's going to come back the way we all want it to be.